Thanks
Hey,
thanks for joining us. I was wondering whether you feel there's a little bit of a sense of overheating. You look at the likes of Tesla and the EV stocks this week. There is a feeling like it's similar to late August when, of course, we then did have a pullback, not a collapse, but a pullback.
Well, I think that we're faced with the prospect that there's a whole new group of investors who've come in and seem to like anything. I've got Nikola on tonight. That's a hydrogen-based truck company, and I think that people just kind of have belief. They have faith. And it tends to be a younger generation that has faith. I think some of these stocks, yes, have overheated, but I want to go back to the source of why all this is happening, which is science. Science has triumphed. We don't speak enough on the network about how great science has done because none of us thought this was possible. I remember speaking to the head of one of the major companies that is doing the trial, and he told me, you know what, we're going to be able to beat this thing 95%. That was about 4 months ago. Well, it seemed fanciful to me. So I think that what's happening is there is happy days are here again, somewhat justified, because if we can get this thing under control, it is going to be like the end of Prohibition.
Well, and we'll be going to Bar San Miguel very, very quickly. Jim,
I hope.
So clearly, if that all plays out, which we all hope it does, one question is whether rates rise. I know you're a long-term bull on companies like Apple. Is there a level of rates that worries you about their multiples?
Well, look, I still think that we are so low. And look, if Jay Powell stays in, and we have Janet Yellen as Treasury Secretary, I think that they will choose to raise wisely, as did Janet when she was Fed chief. I had no disrespect to Fed Chief Yellen. And what I really like about this, I've got to tell you, Wilf, I have tremendous respect for Senator Warren, and she knows I feel that way. But there were a lot of people who felt that Senator Warren was going to get the Treasury job, and that's just very bad news for Wells Fargo. And we see Wells as the leader. I mean, Wells Fargo. Can you imagine, Wilf? Wells Fargo's the leader.
And Goldman contributing the most to the Dow's gains today as well. It's definitely part of this whole trend where we've seen a return to value. We've been talking about it for weeks on this network. Jim, do you see this pivot continuing from here now that we've reached 30,000?
Well, look, we don't have any earnings per share coming. And I think that you can dream dreams. Right now, we're in the dreams phase, Leslie. And I think that you can look at Goldman and say, you know, it's only a couple bucks above its tangible book value, which was scrubbed very clean. Solomon's doing a good job. We're no longer hearing about how there's a problem with Malaysia. So, I mean, you could say, listen, what is this doing at 9 times earnings? I mean, James Gorman, Morgan Stanley, what is that stock doing down there? I mean, that's how people feel. So, Leslie, I think that there's this overall sense that segment has been forgotten and can now be bought because the multiples are so low versus some of the other things that we talk about.
Morgan Stanley's now up 25% year to date. It's had a great run in the last couple of months.
What's it done? What's it done lately? You know, what's it done the last few years? Well,
oh yeah, no, I know only too well. All the banks in general as a group have been terrible.
You know, he's done a lot, Gorman. We forget that it's not the same Morgan Stanley. He's done a lot to be able to make it so it's a more democratic, it's kind of a more, less ethereal, more down-to-earth bank. That's what I like, just like he is. He doesn't know, you know, we don't talk about him like that, but that's who he is.
And over 50% from sort of sticky wealth management as well these days. Jim, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned Nicholas coming up. What else is on the show? You've got an earnings mover.
Well, we have Hewlett-Packard. Now, understand HP, what they've done is they've done these numbers with buybacks, with good growth in printing, with a dividend boost, not necessarily with personal computers. So there will be some people who say, you know what, this story's not good enough. I come back and say, look, this is a huge cash generator that pays a good yield and is doing quite well. So you can just be in it if you want to be able to get a good return. But going back to where I think things are overheated, Wolf, I think that some of the retailers have gotten overheated and that we're going to revert to watch. We're going to revert right back to Walmart, to Amazon, to Target, to Costco, and Home Depot. Why? Because of the number of cases we get per day and how scary it is. I mean, I don't mean to scare anybody out there, but I don't know about you. I mean, I used to have 25 people at Thanksgiving. I'm angling for 4.
I guess it's a little easier to cook for 4 on the bright side, Jim.
Well, I fried a turkey a couple of years ago. It was terrible, Leslie. I put it in the oil. Everything was fine. And then there was no bird. I mean, I had to go to Whole Foods. You know what I mean? So I think that we are all in a moment where I think we're kind of so thrilled about science. But we're also personally, it's a foot race between the virus and the vaccine. The vaccine is going to win for most of us, I hope. I want everyone to have a great Thanksgiving.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.